Blame Truth here, and I meant to get this video out last night, but better late than never. I was feeling a bit off. I don't know if the people behind the Epstein redacted stuff are sticking some drugs in my water. I don't know what's going on, but I wasn't feeling the hottest. But today, I feel pretty damn good. So let's just address the elephant in the room with that thumbnail here. I wanted to cover this in detail in my last video, but some more details have come out behind the scenes. A source has spoken to me about some things, and guys, there's no nice way to put this. We have been had. We have been duped. They have lied to us, and it's not just EA and Battlefield, it's Call of Duty as well, because I have news pertaining to that too. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, though, I want to say if you guys could please like this video. I hope you enjoy the old school Black Ops 2 R870 gameplay, one of the best shotguns in Call of Duty history. This is legacy gameplay, of course, recorded off of the Xbox 360 back in like 2012, 2013, whatever. So yeah, if you want to see more, drop a like, drop a support comment, talk about my super big, powerful accuracy. And without further ado, let's just get right on into it because I got a lot I want to get off my chest. So the first thing I want to cover here, and I covered this briefly in my last video, but it's the Battlefield devs talking about why they're not bringing us a lot of content with Season 1 and Season 2. They've already passed, and the content is just not there. They cited lack of resources. That was their excuse. The best-selling game in the past 3 years has a lack of resources. More resources. More resources. We just don't have enough. I'm sorry. I don't fucking buy it for a second. What a load of complete and utter bullshit. Who is buying this? How can a billion with a B, like, selling title lack the resources to bring us one? I'm not asking for like a fucking motherload here, but one remastered map from an old Battlefield title per season. But BT, more resources. Won't someone please think of the resources or lack thereof? I'm sorry. It's a load of shit. It's complete malarkey. Now, thankfully, Westy called this out, and he had a pretty good take on it. I feel like the allocation of resources in Battlefield 6 is more to blame than a lack. There's 4 studios working on this game. The resources are 100% there to be utilized. But work/time has been put into countless limited time modes and gimmicky features instead of into content players actually care about. Maps, weapons, vehicles, and gadgets. A fucking min, Westy. The solution is simple, but how long will it take to change direction? And he is absolutely right. The resources are going elsewhere. You can probably guess where, and I personally am not fucking happy about this one bit. They are ripping off Call of Duty's business model to a T. I've said it before, and they're doing it again in another way. I will get down to the nitty-gritty details. I'll get down to Activision and Call of Duty lying to us and fucking over like a random guy. I'm going to talk about all this stuff after a brief word from this video's sponsor. If you guys find yourself just, I don't know, doom scrolling on your phone, a good way to make your time more productive, since you're already on your phone, is to check out Snaxy. Snaxy is a leading play-to-earn platform powered by Aniba. The Snaxy app allows users to discover premium mobile games, reach milestones, and redeem coins for real-world rewards. The variety on Snaxy is outstanding. There are 100 plus high-quality games, including RPGs, strategy, and puzzle games. Everything is legit. Like I said, it's powered by Aniba, who I trust for my gaming deals. There is a large gift card variety as well, from PayPal to Steam to Amazon. And right now, when you guys download the Snaxy app, you can get an up to $10 sign-up bonus for new users if you use my link in the video description or the pinned comment. So check out Snaxy, guys, and get paid while you play. Alright guys, welcome back to the video. I want to cover a snippet from Swaggy Lay's video titled, "There's Only a Skeleton Crew Left on Battlefield 6. And I also want to show you some evidence that is irrefutable. You cannot refute this. Guys, Battlefield 7 is going to come out within a year. That is where all the resources are currently at. I'm not kidding. And I am not making that claim out of thin air. I want to cover Swagulay's video titled, "There's Only a Skeleton Crew Left on Battlefield 6.
But we're a team of a certain size. We don't want to sacrifice quality." This statement rings a lot of alarm bells for me. They're basically confirming to us that future Battlefield 6 seasons are just going to be 2 maps, a couple of limited time modes, skins made by an outsourced studio sold to us in the store, and that's it. The content schedule is pretty set in stone, no matter what we say or do. It seems pretty clear that a majority of the 1,400 developers that worked on Battlefield 6 have moved on to a new project and are not working on the live service anymore. A skeleton crew has been left to make small changes here or there and to put out a couple of maps every 4 months. We've seen this type of thing before from EA and DICE with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 5. The game is basically being written off for one reason or another. What will the development of Battlefield 7 look like? Since they're aiming to copy Activision's yearly release model, I think it's a fair bet to say that they are just going to run with the current version of the Frostbite engine and just make a bunch of reskinned Battlefield games every year, just how Call of Duty does it.
Now, you might be hearing Swagulay, you might be hearing me, you might be hearing other people in the Battlefield community talk about this rumor, and it might sound crazy. You might not believe us. You might think we're just blowing smoke up your ass, and you know what? I get it. But maybe you need to see some irrefutable factual evidence. Maybe you need to see them saying this is what they are going to do. Would you like to see that, viewer? Let me show you Exhibit A. Analyst says EA plans to milk Battlefield for everything it's worth. Their goal is 3 studios making Battlefield on a 3-year basis so they can get to Battlefield annually. EA is reportedly building up to Call of Duty's exhaustive 12-month cycle. This was written and published by Morgan Park on August 18th, 2025. This is not a new rumor. Let's check out some more of this article, though, okay? He said it's going to take 5 or 6 years, Byron B. did, former Activision guy that worked with Vince Zampella, before they get to 2 games in a row, so we're not going to get there for a while. But this doesn't mention anything about maybe a year and a half. And I'll get to that in a sec here with more irrefutable factual evidence. Despite Pachter sharing the story like a casual lunchtime chat with a bud, that will be pretty surprising news for longtime Battlefield players. Unlike Call of Duty, which hasn't missed an annual release for over 20 years, Battlefield fans are used to sticking with a single game for 2 to 3 years, or recently more. In fact, EA's less hurried pace to pump out Battlefields has long been considered a strength of the series. If Pachter is to be believed, it sounds like that will still be the plan for the immediate future, but EA's ultimate goal is to mimic Call of Duty's production pipeline. To investor types, that's the sort of news that'd make money signs explode out of your ears, but for the casual fan, it sounds more like EA creating more opportunities to sell you the same basic game for $70. Now, maybe you're still not buying it. Maybe you're saying, BT, that's several years out. We don't have to worry about that for a while. But I want to show you this strange graph, this incredibly strange graph, talking about Battlefield post-launch support. It ranks different games and how many maps they got post-launch, okay? Look at this and tell me with a straight face that something is not weird with it, okay? So if we look at this graph here, yeah, Nickelback reference. If we look at this graph here, Battlefield 6 is kind of square in the middle for post-launch content. It's below Battlefield 1 at this point. It's below Battlefield 3 over the long run, and it's well below Battlefield 4. It does have more than Battlefield 5 for whatever reason, but Battlefield 2042, I'm not really going to count that because that game was a fucking financial and cultural disaster, and it was made during the pandemic, so whatever. I can see why it took them a while to get going, But yeah, this is just pathetic. This is the biggest Battlefield launch in history, and it's on par, actually below, a game that came out back in 2011. And speaking of games coming out in 2011, let's actually look at Battlefield 3 onward to see the release cycle of Battlefields and why this year-and-a-half timeline is not out of the question. So from Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4, it was a 2-year span. From Battlefield 4 to Battlefield Hardline, it was only 1.5 years. From Hardline to Battlefield 1, 1.5 years. Battlefield 1 to Battlefield 5, 2 years. Battlefield 5 to Battlefield 2042, 3. And then Battlefield 2042 to Battlefield 6, 4 years. On top of that, it's not counting Bad Company 2 to Battlefield 3, which is, again, another 1.5-year release schedule. So why did it take Battlefield 2042 to Battlefield 6? Why did it take them 4 years? Why is the map pool so low? Why are there no resources to making just an extra map per season, for example? Well, viewer, it's really quite simple. I think Battlefield 6 only released half of their game. What am I talking about? Well, it took them 4 years to make Battlefield 6, which is quite a long time considering that there's not that much content, not that much different from other Battlefield games, and it's just kind of ripping off Call of Duty. I think it's ripping off Call of Duty so hard that they pulled a Black Ops 6 to Black Ops 7. What am I talking about? Well, Ghost of Hope, who we'll talk about later, he's under the microscope as far as Activision Blizzard is concerned. We'll get to that in a bit, though. But he told me in a DM well before Black Ops 7 came out that he was pretty pissed off because Black Ops 6 basically released with half of the content that was already made for it. Black Ops 7 was that content made into a full game. It's dirty, it's scummy, it's shitty, and that's why the game sold like shit this past year. You'd think they learned their lesson from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, but they did not. The reason you are not getting extra maps for Battlefield 6 is because those extra maps are being made for Battlefield 7 if they're not already made and they're just sitting on them. And I'm not kidding with that at all. 1,400 devs. We make fun of, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 devs for Call of Duty, but 1,400 devs is no small dev team whatsoever. The fact that a lot of these games on that list I just showed you, like Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, older Call of Duties, they were made with a couple of hundred devs. Hell, Call of Duty 4 was made with 100 devs, and I think by Modern Warfare 2, it wasn't really that much more. So, guys, I'm just saying, the amount of devs don't really mean anything anymore if they get taken off the current game because EA wants to push out yearly slop exactly like Call of Duty. This is the worst fucking timeline, and I am not the only one that thinks this is what's happening. I would bet money that a new Battlefield title will release 1.5 years to the day from Battlefield 6. I'm serious. They are going to want to compete with not just GTA 6, but Modern Warfare 4. And releasing a game after that will hopefully get people that are bored with those two titles onto that Battlefield. Mark my fucking words. I could be wrong. We could all be off base. I'm not the only one that thinks this. But, I sincerely think we are going to see a Battlefield title around, I don't know, March 2027. In about 1 year's time. I mean, hell, guys, they're even doing the seasons the same way Call of Duty does. If you really look at exactly what they're doing with the seasons and the Battle Royale and whatnot, they are copying Call of Duty to a T. I mean, they might even push up the release date from 1.5 years and rush shit out just like Call of Duty does and give us, turds akin to Call of Duty Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War, which released horribly unfinished, crashing consoles, crashing PCs. This is the worst gaming timeline, and that's just the Battlefield side of things. I have so much more I want to cover on the Call of Duty side of things. We have, I can't even believe I'm saying this, we have a $1 trillion company putting surveillance on someone, on one person, on a leaker. They've done this to me in the past. This is not us making this up or whatever. I'm going to show where he says it, but I have sources that tell me that Activision has people watching, people in the community that are like problematic, like me and Ghost of Hope. It's really fucked up. So if you are watching right now, if you're getting paid to watch my content, guy at Activision, I have this for you. Check it out. Boom. There you go. The leaker community, though, the people behind the scenes or that work with the people behind the scenes, they're usually right. In fact, the source I got for Battlefield 7 possibly releasing in about 1.5 years, I mean, he's pretty spot on as well. So take all this with a grain of salt, of course. Plans can change behind the scenes. No one's 100% accurate. But whenever I covered Ghost of Hope on this channel, and I covered him talking about Black Ops 6 to Black Ops 7, he called things in Black Ops 7 up to a year before the game came out. So I trust him. Like, he called the game basically verbatim, told me, told the public or whatever. Those aren't the only things he's been right on. He's been right on a lot over the years. And like I said, I trust what he has to say. Activision has done this weird petty thing, this trillion-dollar fucking company filled with weird island visiting narcissists. They cannot handle any sort of criticism or anyone, you know, breaking their illusion of control. So they are discrediting this guy publicly every chance they get. Look at this. I can't even believe I am showing you this, but check it out. So a few days ago, Ghost of Hope leaked out that sources indicate to me that the delay of the next Xbox due to shitty AI causing RAM prices to spike like crazy hurt a lot of COD's marketing plans, as they wanted MW4 to be a launch title and draw a lot of hype to compete with people's attention alongside GTA 6. Because of this delay, the idea of 2 Call of Duty games launching with the next Xbox has been floated. A traditional Call of Duty multiplayer and a standalone zombies title, presumably developed by Treyarch. Likely similar to that of Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, where both released together. And look, this is a good rumor. People were pretty happy about this, because why do we have to wait for zombies when Treyarch's games come? Why are they not included every single year with Call of Duty as the de facto third mode? You know, it doesn't make any fucking sense. So most people took this news and were happy, you know? Of course, Call of Duty, being petty little bitches that they are, publicly denied it. Charlie Intel tweeted out that Call of Duty has denied a new rumor from the Ghost of Hope that claimed a standalone zombies COD game is in development. They just replied with, "The rumor factory is working overtime. This ain't it." Why are they trying to sound like, I don't know, man, they sound like some fucking Zoomer on TikTok. This ain't it, bro. For real, no cap. Suck my dick, you weird motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. Actually, don't do that. You probably like it. So Ghost of Hope responded to this, saying, "Whoever at COD PR came up with denying almost any rumor put out by anybody besides data mined stuff is a genius. Makes leakers look like fools, and everybody will forget about them lying in a few years when this stuff comes true, LOL. They know what they're doing, I'll give them that." Yeah, they're publicly lying and misleading the community. That's what they're doing. So this guy even says, "The denial strat is hilarious considering they did the exact same thing when you said Phil Spencer was on his way out." So I had to look this up, and he is exactly right. Ghost of Hope leaked out that Phil Spencer will be retiring from his role as CEO of Microsoft Gaming after the launch of the next generation Xbox. That was supposed to be at the end of this year, sort of around Q4 of this year. However, with the fucking, RAM shortages and whatnot, and the prices of things being astronomical because of AI, they have delayed that. So Phil Spencer just decided to step down right now. If you look at the bottom here, though, Xbox has directly addressed this tweet and says Phil Spencer has no plans to retire. Phil Spencer has no plans to retire. Fucking liars. Disgusting, deceitful liars. Within a year of this tweet coming out, Phil Spencer's gone. Someone replied to Ghost of Hope and said, "What was it that you said about MW4 that got IW to respond?" IW, of course, responded to Ghost and said, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet," which they then put on the internet because they're fucking stupid as shit. Well, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, this guy says, he said that MW4 is basically MW2 2.0, but with a few changes. This guy says, it's funny as fuck they see people getting excited over the future of COD and instantly deny it all. It's like they want people to give up. And Hope says it's cause they just want to deny anything and everything regardless of optics. It's short-sighted. This guy says, and this is the big one, I'm telling you, they have someone in office whose whole job is just to watch your account all day. And Hope says, of course they do. They hate me with all their being, but I cannot blame them. If you guys remember, I've been saying they had somebody watching my accounts and shit years ago. Like, that's another rumor that is true. It's just, I don't understand what is wrong with these trillion, billion-dollar companies. I mean, I do. They're just greedy, disingenuous, out-of-touch morons at the end of the day. That's what they are, to a T. Personally, I'm trusting Ghost of Hope, and we're going to see them lie to us again when a standalone zombies game probably comes out with MW4. It's hilarious. They lie so much and so openly, and no one ever holds them accountable except for like me and Nero and Fooly and a few other people, that they just continue to do it. And the community just takes it. They just take it. They spread their cheeks, no lube, and just fucking take it. They bend over and say, can I have another Daddy Activision? It is pathetic. I, however, will not do that because I am not a bitch. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to end it right there. And yeah, like I said, like this video. Drop a comment below, leave a like if you would be so kind, subscribe as well, ring that notification bell, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.